himself at all times. Any questions from the challenger?
No questions.
Any questions from the champion? Let's get it on. Come on.
Yes, the always pointed Mills Lane, who's a district judge out of Reno, as we're getting set for Julian Jackson, his first title defense of the WBC middleweight crown, as he takes on the #1 challenger, Dennis Milton, scheduled for 12. Here we go, round one. Julian Jackson, the Hawk, the champion, and the gold with the red trim. Dennis Milton, the magician, the challenger, #1 contender, in the black and white trunks. And Jackson, as he told us, going right at Milton.
And Milton looks like he's got the game plan of holding on, and I hope he doesn't think he can do that for 12 rounds. He's got to do a little bit of fighting besides just grabbing him.
I asked Milton what he has to do to upset Jackson. He said, my boxing ability and boxing savvy will take care of that. He said Jackson's going out. Jackson told us he doesn't think Milton can withstand the pressure of his punches.
Right now he's fighting with a little bit of apprehension is the magician.
The magician is Dennis Milton, who is 16-2-1 with 5 knockouts, only 19 pro fights at age 30. Why so few fights? Why he's so inactive since turning pro in '85? He told us he may be inactive fighting, but he has been sparring with world-class opponents, as we mentioned. But Ferdy, I really wonder about that.
That's absolutely, it's nonsense. I mean, you have to have tune-up fights. You have to get in there in competition. In the gym won't do it, and especially not if you're going to face a Julian Jackson, who is very good. Good right hand by Jackson.
Jackson looking to air it out here in the very first round.
Milton foolishly holding on to the rope instead of covering up. He is very apprehensive and tight. All that ring rust is showing. He certainly doesn't look like he belongs in the ring with Julian Jackson.
Midway through the first, Milton, who last fought just to set the record straight June 28th, the second round TKO over Pat Brennan in Vegas, said he feels Jackson doesn't have the skills and that this fight won't go to the judges. Well, right now, Jackson's looking to end it in the opening round. And down goes Milton.
He does not look like he is going to get up. He looks like he's part of the fixture. He's part of the canvas. The magician is down for the count.
And it is all over in round number 1. Julian Jackson retains his WBC middleweight championship, knocking out Dennis Milton.
So much for the theory that you can go to the gym and work 18 months and hope to face a guy like Julian Jackson.
This is Jackson's 10th first-round knockout, and he is now 42-1 with 40 KOs, 6-0 in championship bouts. His average rounds per championship bout, 4. This one in the first.
Well, fights like that, he really doesn't have to worry about his eyesight because he didn't get hit once.
And Dennis Milton is still being attended to flat on his back.
Well, the precaution that they take here, and they do in New Jersey and in Florida, many states, is to leave him down, even though his eyes are open and he responds, until he's fully clear-headed. Then they sit him up, and then from there they progress to standing. His eyes are open. He seems to be reacting, so it doesn't look like any difficulty there. It's just a resounding knockout. When Julian Jackson knocks you out, he knocks you out. I mean, they can count to 100.
And we feel for Dennis Milton right now. Mills Lane is hovering over him to make sure at least he's comfortable.
Well,
and he's in bad shape, getting up very slowly. The doctor's there, of course.
They should not be in a hurry. I mean, there's no point in being in a hurry to make a guy get up. I mean, let him get up when he's nice and when you know that he has his senses about him, so he doesn't topple over again or so nothing else happens. Julian, on the other hand, doesn't look like he's even started to sweat right.
Milton is on his feet, so thank goodness for that. Now they'll sit him down.
Well, when a fighter fights as apprehensively as he has, anything that touches him seems to respond even more. Now let's take a look at that first shot. Boom, that right hand, and you could see the reaction was to fold. I mean, there was just absolutely, and then to grab hold. There was no concept of counter punching here or to protect himself. Now let's take a look from a different view. You see how solid it landed, and how this guy's just so tight. He's just not loose and limber. He doesn't go with a punch. It's just like hitting a bag. Look at that, boom. It's just That's unfortunate. He was too tight. He didn't get a chance to catch himself and start in his own rhythm. It's kind of unfair, but for him, because he just didn't have it to be in there with Julian Jackson. Let's see what happened at the end of the fight when Jackson, who's one of the great finishers in boxing, finally puts the quietus on the hapless magician. And there goes Dennis Milton and part of the canvas.
Well, the magician pulled a disappearing act here against Julian Jackson.
Well, no magic tonight. It was just a straight, hard performance by a really good champion in Julian Jackson. Let's take another look at that. The right hand that lands alongside of his face just short circuits all the neurons, and there is nothing left to keep him standing or in the conscious world. He's knocked out.
Julian Jackson's mission to unify the middleweight title after WBA champ Mike McCallum meets IBF champ James Toney in December. McCallum is the only man ever to beat Julian Jackson back in 1986 when they fought for the junior middleweight championship. So let's just hope that the challenger Dennis Milton is okay. Let's get the official word from our ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time. 2 minutes, 10 seconds in round number 1. The winner by way of knockout and still the WBC middleweight champion of the world, Julian the Hawk Jackson.
So there you have it. Julian Jackson retaining his WBC middleweight championship, his first title defense.
Out of his coat. Oh, no, I got it.